Welcome to Beyond the Box.
Our guests are insiders that are now out and on our side, dropping nuclear intel and breaking it down just for you.
And now it's time to introduce our hosts, Brenda Lankridge and Suzanne Haunt. Join us and subscribe for weekly shows. Beyond the Box begins now. Let's jump in.
Hello, everybody. It is March 21st. 2025. We're finally here, so I can stop saying, God, is it ever gonna come? And this would be episode number 118.
Woo-hoo.
It feels like there's been a lot more, but according to the counting of YouTube, it's only been 118. They could be lying to me, but you know. So we're not going to talk about the fact that Brenda's not wearing makeup, and we're not going to talk about the fact that I'm having a bad hair day.
Oh, no.
It's
Bad
just
hair day.
somebody explain to me why. I mean, is anybody else having the problem with just feeling so tired and so drained? I mean, I take so many freaking vitamins twice a day. And lately, I can't even find my 1 foot. It's
I think you went through a season of staying up late for days, like a whole season. And now you're going through a season of catching up like a bear in the cave. You're hibernating.
but I've worked nights all my life, so I've always been a night person. But lately, shoot, I've been going to bed about, 10:30 at night, and I've been getting up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Then I stay up till noon, and then I take like a 4-hour nap in the afternoon, and then I still go to bed at 10 o'clock, and I've been so tired. I can't fathom why. I mean, it's
How many days you stay up and counsel people and talk to people, and you were up for like 2-3 days without no sleep? Now it's catching up with you.
Usually it was Rocco, and at the same time he was sucking my energy out of me, so yeah. All right. It's like,
It works like that.
how's your day been? Oh, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care.
Good.
I don't care, Susie, that you wanted to keep it a secret, but everybody, yesterday was Susie's birthday, and she didn't tell nobody.
Oh no.
Yes, I'm telling them.
They need to. I didn't even remind my family.
You know what?
Yep. Oh. Huh.
I watch my Facebook all the time to see when everybody's birthday is, and yours didn't even pop up on there. I was like, what?
See, God was keeping me incognito, secret.
Yeah, well,
secret agent, girl.
I just let your cognito out. Yesterday was Susie's birthday.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Happy birthday, Susie.
Oh,
we're another day
That's
younger.
right.
We're another day younger. Oh my God, I gotta tell you something.
Joel actually remembered it was my birthday and said happy birthday. And then my stepmom called me and was singing happy birthday and said everybody in the family is wishing me a happy birthday. So, I was like, they didn't forget. But I was just like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing like all week leading up to it. I'm not gonna say nothing. Because it's just another day. I mean, your birthday is just another day, right? But I
Yeah.
guess it's that day of that season that you were born, you know. And it's not like, you know, if I want cake, I'll go out and buy cake, okay? So it's not like I have to have a cake on that day, right? And I don't need any presents. I mean, come on. I mean, the only present I need is just to be happy, riding my horse or having a happy day or people getting along. That's my birthday present.
Everybody's saying happy birthday. I gotta
Thank
tell you
you.
something horrifying. Okay, that's horrifying. Oh, everybody,
What?
let
A
me bring
dream? A bad dream?
Sherry in. Hang on, hang on. Oh, let me
Okay.
find her. Oh, there she is. Oh, well, there is Sherry's chair.
No,
Anyways,
she hasn't.
let me
She's secret agent girl too.
she probably getting something for the dog. So here's something horrifying. So today my daughter sends me a picture of a guy and like a teenage boy. And she saw, Mom, do you know who this is? And I looked at it and I'm like, no, I give. Who is it? Susie. It was my ex-husband, the one that was in the military that moved me here. And he's younger than,
Okay.
okay, he is younger than me. And he looks like he's 95 years old.
No
Very, very
way.
short white hair. He looks horrible. And I said, what is wrong with him?
Now you know why he's
Why
your
is it?
ex.
She said, well, he probably got liver failure because he was a massive drinker. Okay. And I mean massive
Yeah.
every day. And he drank enough as it was. And when he joined the military, it was worse. So it,
Huh.
I didn't even recognize
On a
him.
different line.
My daughter says, Mom, you look younger than him. I said, oh, that's amazing because I'm like 5 years older than him.
Oh
Yep,
wow.
6 years older than him. And he looked, I was, and my daughter's going, well, he wasn't a very good guy anyways, Mom. I'm like, yeah, but he was a good looking man. I feel bad. What,
Was,
what
huh?
happened? You
Huh.
know, and he doesn't speak to me anymore because
What
his
happened?
new wife won't allow him to. And as a matter of fact, when she was going to marry him, she sent his friend, well, he was a mutual friend, to call me and tell me that I needed to change my last name because she didn't want to share it. And I was like, screw you. I had it first. Shut up. I ain't going through all
Hey, you know what it
that.
does say? There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about how, beauty fades, like as you get older with age. So, that's kind of in line with some people's beauty. And that's why character is so important,
Well, and I
because it
felt so
never fades.
bad. I felt so bad because, and that was the one that I was married to, and the only reason why we got a divorce was his mother. Because him and I were married for years and never ever apart, and we did everything. We worked together. We spent 3 years in a diesel truck together. We were never away from each other, and we never fought. We might have had
That's
disagreements,
good.
but it was never fighting. But his mother was a very,
Yeah.
very big problem. So I gave him an ultimatum. I told him, you don't just put her in an apartment next to us. I just don't want her living with us. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to say this because anytime him and I messed around, she would complain that we made too much noise and would tell her son, you need to go sleep on the couch. The two of you don't need to be sleeping together. And I looked at him and I said,
Oh
oh,
my
you better
goodness.
be giving her money and sending her to the damn movies because, so I finally got tired of it. And I was like, dude, cut
Gonna
the
ruin
umbilical
your marriage
cord.
life. Yeah.
Cut the umbilical cord, man. What are you doing? Get off that movie. I mean, come on. So I finally just got tired of it and said, oh, I gotta go. And I got an apartment away from them. So, but I felt so horrible because when I said her, I think I really loved that man. I really did. I just couldn't deal with his mom.
Well,
And
that's good. Hey, you know
um,
what they say about gray hair too? Gray hair is an indication of wisdom. So maybe he's really wise today, you know?
I don't even think he has gray hair. I think he has no hair. He
Oh,
looks like he's had chemo. And I asked my daughter, "Okay, you got that from his son's Facebook, so obviously you talked to his son. Can you ask him? I mean, that is horrible." And I'm over here going, because if there's nothing wrong with him, well, then I don't know what the hell his wife's been doing to him, but he looks horrid. I couldn't believe it. When she told me that, I was like, no, I had to go back and look again. I'm like, no, no, that's not him. And there's no way. She's like, yes, Mom. I'm like, okay. What happened? All right. So
well, you know, that's kind of like if you go to high school, Brenda, and you have, you know, people go back to high school reunions and they're shocked to see the changes, you know, like 20 years, 30 years later of their classmates, you know? I mean,
you know
they
what
don't,
I
some of
have
them,
to
you don't
get?
even recognize them, you know?
I have to get a picture from Shay. They did a game one time on Glenn's show, and they did these computer generated, AI generated things. And she took pictures of all of us. And the AI generated what we looked like when we were in high school. And when they brought mine up, I about fell over. I said, "Where did you get that picture of me?" She goes, "AI made it." I said, "What?" Because
It
it
looked just
looks
like you.
just like my high school picture. Long hair, the whole 9 yards. Even wore the
That's pretty cool.
jeans and a t-shirt the way I used to wear them. And I said, "Nuh-uh, somebody gave you a picture of me." She goes, "No, really, I swear. AI made it." And I'm like, so I've got to get it, because the funny thing of it was, when I looked at this picture, it had my bigger front teeth, my buck teeth in it, which really threw me
Bigger
off.
front teeth.
Okay. So I was like, there is no way. And I told Glenn, I said,
Too
that's what
funny.
I used to look like in high school. And he says, wow, it's a good thing I didn't know you then. You'd have been doable. I'm like, oh, shut up. Idiot. He's such an idiot. I love him, but he's such an idiot. But anyways, we have got okay. Mods. We know who this person is. Thank you. God, every time I
So
turn
let's say a
around.
prayer before we go too far.
Yeah, please, let's
Okay.
do that, because we do have a topic tonight, and it's going to be fun. so go ahead, Susie.
All right. I just asked the Father to, um, I did, well, you know, I don't even have to ask him. I just have to thank him that we have a president that is doing what he said he's going to do, and he's hiring people that are going to get the job done. And I just want to thank every one of them for their services, and um, and I just ask, you know, what I do ask for is a protection over our lives and a guidance in our lives, and you know, for health and healing if people need it, and those that are watching, and you know, all the good things. That's all I could ask for. Just bring it on, Lord, all the good stuff. In Jesus' mighty name.
Yeah, all the good stuff. So tonight,
All the good stuff.
I know that you guys seen Sherry when she was on last week. Sherry's going to be coming on and co-hosting when Susie's not going to be here. We're even going to probably have her just come in with us anyways. But she's got a lot of interesting stories. She's how do they call them? Sensies, intuitive, just like the rest of us. But first, real quick, because I tried to do this earlier, Norma, Julie, Brent, Denise was here. Hi guys. We weren't ignoring you. I seen you in here.
Hey guys.
We're talking. Um, yeah, there was a kind of a rude butt in the chat. I have to deal with that every once in a while. You know, I get some nice emails and stuff all the time. I don't even know why I try. I don't know why I put an email up anyways, but there are people that contact me by email and that's okay. But I put that email up and boy, I'll tell you what, I get the hoot nannies of the hoot nannies. I get some crude
The
stuff
hoot
in
nannies. The hoot
oh my
nannies.
God. I'm glad that I don't give out my actual real. I only give out my actual real email to like I think Norma has it. I think I gave it to her, but I don't put my real email up here. There ain't no way I'd be able to put up with all that in my email, plus everything else I get. So no, it's terrible. But so Sherry is going to be talking about some really good things in her life. Well, and we like the creepy and the unusual anyways, so you know. So Susie,
I don't know if we like it, but we can handle it.
well, yeah, I mean, our lives are never normal, so you know, it's
There you
okay.
go. We understand it. Yeah.
Yes, we understand it very much so. So Sherry, you have you ever well, tell everybody a little bit about you with some of your experiences, like you've lived in different places. And you
growing up my whole life.
no, not your whole life.
When I was younger, I mean, I lived in one place, moved around, when I was a real little baby and stuff, and I don't remember, but it was like when I was 5. And we moved. I didn't even want to go there. I remember the day that we went into that house for my parents to go look at this house. It's like a brick ranch house. Went through the garage, big garage, up these stairs in, and there's like a kitchen, and then there's like the dining room. So you come in this way, and the big long kitchen and dining room, and instantly walked in, and I'm like, I don't like this house. And my dad's like, shh, 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 shh. My mom's holding my sister because I think she's 1. Yeah. And so we go in the dining room round, and I just horrified.
Why didn't you like the house, Sherry? Why did you say you didn't like it?
Death. Well, when I got around the corner, there's heads of like he's a hunter, like animal heads, and
Okay.
and I'm looking, and the nails are still there. Actually, my parents never took them out because they had a high ceiling, and I'm like, I don't like this house. And there was a piano, and it was gray in there with some orange, like long curtains. It was, and they had like the dining room, and there's a fireplace, and then like the hallway, and there's a mirror in the bathroom because the bathroom's at the end, so it's a long mirror, so when you shut it you can see down. And they had a daughter, she was a teacher, but the guy was like, I'm colorblind. And I'm like, Mom, I don't like this house. I just don't like this house.
Just
I don't
a bad feeling.
Everything was weird.
It was weird. And then because we went downstairs to the basement, because I wouldn't leave my dad. I mean, I just was like clung on to him, and went down there, and it was different. The guy painted on the walls scenery and stuff, colors, and I'm 5, and I'm like, why can't he see colors? Upstairs is ugly and downstairs looks nice, and I don't know. So we ended up moving there. That was horrible. I hated it since I was 5.
What state was that?
It's in Michigan. It's a small,
Okay.
It was a small German town, farm town.
Okay.
And the house, the husband and wife, they said they built the house there, I think in the 1940, 45 or something like that. And him and his wife, and he did neon lights like out of the house. So our address lit up too. We had a lit up address, but Oh yeah, at nighttime, it started. My sister would come into my room. My room actually is like where my closet is in our bathroom. The back end of it, of like the one of the cabinets comes in my closet, but at night that closet had to be shut, like completely shut, because if it was open, it's like a portal in there that things come out. In the daytime, I could go in. I felt safe to go in and play as a kid, but my sister was terrified. We had night terrors a lot. Um, Seeing things like even today, if I've gone there and stuff happens all the time. Like if there's family get-togethers, there's like banging or
Your
bashing.
family still owns that house?
Yeah, they live in there. My dad tells me that they're still there. He sees them at night, with red eyes and stuff. He says they're mine, and I'm like, no, they're not. I said they came with the house.
They're
They're
yours. What does
yeah,
it tell
they're
you?
not
You left
mine.
them there?
I never want. Yeah, I moved and they stayed. But
Ah,
the hallway, though, I tested it out because my mom is like, she shuts down. She just everything's don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it, and all that. But um, we got like a picture of us where you can see an apparition up above one of my head. Um, let's see. My friends, when they used to stay there, they could hear things, but we have a family that's also living there, an old man. And my sister used to be a seer till it just scared her too much and she didn't like it. And, but there was an old man sitting on the fireplace, and then there was a little boy in a room, and it scared her. And my dad used to tell us that, there's doors and there's worlds. So, like ghosts live in a different world, but sometimes the doors will open together so we can see each other. And to them, we look like ghosts, and to the ghosts, we look like them, is what he explained, just trying to calm us down. But we never slept. I mean, I didn't. I was a light sleeper, used to sleepwalk, I guess. It's,
I'd be like, well, then close the door, Dad. Close the door.
well, there's a portal there. I mean, I prayed
Right.
in the house. I prayed up and down the house. I mean, we had to have the house cleansed one time. Then that was kind of my fault, sort of. I don't know if I got like not possessed, but sometimes you have hitchhikers that
Yeah.
kind of hang
Follow
on you
you
and you
home.
kind of bat with
They,
them. And
they
I was
follow
getting
you
off
home.
from work. I'm 19, and I know you don't get Ouija boards. I know all about that stuff. Um, you don't do that. Well, next thing you know, I'm at the store in the mall in the toy department. I got a Ouija board,
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like going, no, no, no. Why am I doing this? I come home. So I know that opened up more doors. Me and my sister, my dad walks by and he's like, oh my God. He goes, don't you tell your grandmother about that. And I'm like, what does grandma have to do with this? And he said, he goes, your great grandma used to play with one. And I'm like, what? And while me and my sister were on the oracle already, I'm like, this is terrible. Till the thing told me to read the Bible. It's like, did you read the Bible? And I'm like, yes, I've read the Bible. And it's like, you better read the Bible again. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. But I left it with my sister. So there was times that I would come home and her friend would be playing on it. There was one time that their hand actually got stuck on the pentacle and the demonic was yelling at me. It wasn't really about my parents or anybody else. It was me. And I was dating and it was chastising me like, you were out with your, at the time he was going to be he was my fiance, and didn't like him and saying his name and all that. And I'm just like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, we have to get rid of this. We had our reverend, my dad was like, wow, you made a mess of this place. We had our house blessed twice and cleaned out, had crosses put in it. And like, let's see, 5 years ago, before that, we were all baptized because my dad wanted us to be baptized like John the Baptist did, and for full,
Right.
back and come up. And so we had that done in our pool, but it never stopped what's going on there ever. It still goes on at the house.
Well, I mean, a lot of did the people that used to own it, did they pass away there?
No, they moved and retired, and
Oh,
I don't know where they went. No, my parents have been in that same house
you
for
ever
like 55 years, and supposedly the family before.
did you ever think to look
Do you
at
remember that movie that movie Amityville Horror? Do you remember that
Yes, I
movie?
saw that. Yes.
did you ever stop
That
to
was
um to you should try to do something to see if you can find out anything about the actual land itself before they built the house on it. That
Right.
maybe it was part of a cemetery, maybe there
It
was
used to be
something about it.
swampy. I looked into the history of the town, and it used to be like a swampy area. And like when in Detroit, when they were building up Detroit in the early 1900s, they made Michigan Ave from Detroit all the way to Chicago. So, and when they were passing that town, there was like small farm town, and they had railroad tracks going through it. But to them, the people, whoever they are, politicians or government or whatever, they just saw that as nothing. It wasn't worth anything. Like that little place where they would travel through. It's kind of, and it's still, I mean, it's built up now, but it's still kind of that way. But we had a lot of weird stuff. Like we had the troll bridge that kids would go out in the back roads, and it's a kind of scary, janky old metal bridge, and it's a 1-lane bridge. And when you're messing around with stuff, things come up that way too. I didn't go out there at night. I was like, no, I live in a haunted house. I don't need to go and find more at the time growing up.
Yeah, Julie said that it's a good possibility that there was a portal there before the house was ever built,
Oh yeah,
which
because
that
my
could happen.
all my kids, I'm like, I could tell my mom, I'm like, you hit where the hallway is to head down. That's where it happens. And every kid, when they're little, just stops right there. They don't want to go. Even my friends, they don't, it's that second sense. You have that, like, I'm impending danger sense. Used to think like things would jump out of the closet or the bedroom. Me and my sister used to hold their hands to go to the bathroom together, just because I'm outside the door going, it's okay. There was a time where I was 14. I was watching her, and I went to get up. We were at the other end of the house. Our parents were gone. And I went to get up, and her face just turned completely white, and I froze, and I went, what do you see? What do you see? I went, look down the hallway, and she goes, there's a lady in a white dress walking down the hallway. And I'm like, no, there's not. She's like, yeah, there is. I'm like, no, there's not. And she's like, yeah, well, there is. I said, well, quit looking at it. Did it go away yet? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Finally, she went away. We flipped on all the lights in the house. Yeah, my parents came home. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to. I just don't. I just never did. And it was like the town. We had a lady that lived like 2 doors up in a really those old houses, like,
Old Victorian houses.
yeah, yeah. But it was kind of creepy too, because she used to say that she was a witch. One of the kids, oh, she was an older girl, and they used to have like a bunch of growth and stuff up around the house, and it was kind of creepy. We used to run by it, and so there could possibly be that going on too. And
Might have been. That is Michigan.
oh yeah, well, my high school, we lost from the time I was in, let's see, my freshman year, 2 kids died in a car accident. And then that was in the fall. And then the spring, 2 of my friends died on a motorcycle after school. So pretty much from, I think, a total of 13 kids in my town from 1980 to 86, I think, or something like that. 2 by 2 of kids just dying in car accidents, this and that. And it's just like, oh, okay. Pretty much they were all my friends. So we had that going on too. We just had a lot of strange stuff, but I see things. See things out of my prefo all the time.
Right. I know how that is. You get
Yeah.
used to it after a while, though. It's like it doesn't. I mean, I grew up with this stuff, so it doesn't. I get it if it's really bad. I get a very sickening feeling, and I can tell. Um, but if it doesn't make me feel like that, then I'm okay with it. Nothing. It doesn't surprise me. I don't really get spooked by it, but I was doing it since I was 5. I was seeing people there, um, people over there, and a lot of times some of them would try to talk to me, and I would communicate. So it's not I grew up with it not being a frightening thing, and my family used to play hide and seek in the dark with us, like some of
We
my
did.
uncles.
My
So
dad and I, we
we
used to
wouldn't be
do that.
afraid. They would jump out, and so it takes an awful lot to spook me. I mean, a lot. So, but when I feel it, I know that it's a true feeling. You know,
Right. And
and
you know that
it's
they're bad. It's
bad.
like
Yeah,
that. It's a heavy, I get that heavy kind of and a push, like right here. I'm like, oh,
I
that's not
I get a dreaded feeling of I can. It's almost like being able to feel darkness, and I get sick to my stomach, and every hair on my body will stand up, and so it's when it's bad, I know it's bad.
right.
So somebody tells me if I go somewhere with somebody, like I've been to cemeteries and people have been like, "Oh God, I got a bad feeling. There's some evil right here," and I'm like, "No, no." I don't think so. If that's
I
what you feel, then you need to go home now. So,
yeah, I I'm just I've had friends, but like if there's anything that goes on at my parents' house when I'm there and the family's there, it scares some people. It makes me mad because I just grew up with it. I just grew up with it, so I'm not like afraid. I know where it comes from. There is a portal because my youngest can actually he's like a seer too, and he knows where it's at too. Cause he's like, Mom, I know where the portal is. Cause he can hear things because it was antagonizing him. I forgot about that. It was on a Thanksgiving or something. Him and I were in the kitchen, and all of a sudden he just sat there and he's like stiff. And I'm like, What's the matter? I go, What's the matter? What's going on? He's like, Mom, it's heckling me. And I'm like, what? You can hear it? I'm like, oh, okay. I can only hear the sounds. I can't hear it talking to me because I learned to tune that out when I was a kid. I'm like, mm-mm. Uh, so he was, and it scared him. Well, it made me mad, but I'm trying not to. So I'm like going down the hallway, I'm praying and stuff. And it's like, stop scaring my kid. And he was a teenager too, but I'm just like, no, don't do it. So he doesn't really go over there that much. He just chooses not to. But we see things where we're at now. We see things or where I used to live before. My daughter used to say, "Mom, when you're gone, we see shadow figures going underneath your door in your room." And I went, "Oh yeah." I go, "I think there's a crossing portal from this closet to that one. I just like here, we know where the portal is here because I had some stuff going on and my dog was barking the other day and I was like, are you kidding me?" And I was on the phone with my girlfriend and I pulled out olive oil, prayed on it, started anointing the cabinets and everything till she calmed down. And
it works.
it's a spiritual warfare is what it is. And it's just, you know,
Susie, I heard the puppies
Yeah.
running around. Are they okay?
Oh yeah, they're over there just playing. I was gonna say I was gonna try to say something earlier, but you had to something you wanted to say, but I was talking about Amityville Horror. In that movie, there was a portal, and in that movie, what's weird about that movie is I actually spoke with one of the kids on the phone. who lived in that house.
Who-
Okay, one of the yeah, I spoke with him. And what's weird about that, I met Margot Kidder actually too when I worked in Austin at the saddle shop, but who played in the first Amityville Horror, but with James Brolin. But here's something interesting about that movie. Whenever I guess there was the man that moved in there, and he ended up murdering 6 of his kids. Okay, and then 3 months later, this family moves into the house, and they found a portal in the basement. Where something demonic they said was coming from, and it started to possess the husband of the new people that moved into the house. This thing started to possess. And the weird thing about the movie, though, is when the wife or the new family moved in, she went down to the library because they don't have internet back in the 70s, right? So she
Right.
goes down to the library and she looks at the news article of the guy who killed his 6 kids, and he looked identical to her husband.
I,
Identical.
I think
Now,
it was supposed to be the oldest son killed the younger kids and the
no, the
parents,
father, I think,
and he looked just
um,
like
well, it
the guy
says
in the movie.
DeFeo shot and killed 6 members of his family. Okay,
Yeah, he was
and
the oldest
in
kid.
Amityville on the South Shore of Long Island. He was convicted of second-degree murder in November of 75. In December of 75, George and Kathy Lutz and their 3 children moved into the house.
Right.
Okay, and then, but here's the interesting thing about this movie is I had a theory that it was a Mandela effect. It was a different timeline. Okay, because it was the same guy, but in the first timeline, he murders 6 members of his family. And then they jump into a new timeline, and now he only has 3 members in his family. So I don't know what happened to the other 3 kids. Maybe they didn't come into this timeline or something. But because when she looked at it, it was her husband. The guy who kills these 6, or the one who kills the 6 kids, is her husband, which is freaking her out. But in this story, he was going to murder his family. He was going to murder the family. The father was going to murder them and if you watch the Amityville Horror, he was going to murder everybody, but he managed to get away from the grip of the whatever evil was in that house, and they escaped and they saved their family. So I just thought it was bizarre. Like, could it have been the portal? Could have been. Did they jump timelines? Did they get a second chance to not, kill their family this time? But 3 of them didn't come back. I don't know. I mean, you got to wonder why would the guy look identical to the
That's
guy who
really weird.
killed? You know what I
I'd
mean?
say
Like
that.
that's just weird.
I never thought about that as
You know.
in the way of a time jump. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that could be possible. I didn't.
Hmm.
Well, there are time
Because your dad
bleeds
said
too,
something to
'cause-
do with you. He said your dad said this had something to do with you. Maybe it did. Maybe there was something connected with another timeline. I
could
mean, it's just weird, I mean, it's weird enough that we're talking about things that go bump in the night, okay?
yeah.
But so it could be a lot weirder than what we really realize.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I went and saw a Christian woman psychiatrist or psychologist because of some things, and she was helping me about the Ouija board and what to do, how to get rid of it, why did I do it, and I'm like, I know better, but I feel like I was like kind of
You're
like
being a defiant child.
I'm here, but I'm being driven, like kind of against my will. Like, this is not right, but I'm going along to get along, I guess, or whatever. And, but yeah, I can see that in a way because like my family, we didn't, like my dad and I and his family, we didn't like put the spooky stuff aside like it's fake or anything. It was taught, we talked about it like it's real.
Normal.
Just normal. It's normal to me. I was the weird kid talking about like, hey, guess what happened last night? And my friends are like, I don't want to come to your house, and I'm like, it's okay. I see things at your house too. Don't tell me. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but I can't help it. I mean, I
Well,
had
a lot of times though, when you when you can do that stuff, when you can see them and you can communicate with them and you can hear them, you're a beacon to them. So it's not
yes.
necessarily that there may be something at their house. It may have followed you there,
Well, that's
you
what the
know?
lady said. The Christian lady, she said, because she helped with getting people, deliverance from black magic and all of that too. And she said that children are light. They're like a big bright light, and some are brighter than others. And they're like moths, just coming and coming. And she said, and you're just one of those that you know, they see and they just keep on coming and coming. I mean, it hasn't been too bad. It's been mild, but it still happens. When I see things around here, I'm like, I see you, and then they go away. I've had other interesting things where I was here in this place, just sitting here. I think I was listening to music or thinking of something or meditating. I don't know. And all of a sudden on my back, I felt like a golem jumped on me, and I was like, "What?" and flung it off real quick and started. Yeah, I just was, "Oh no, you don't!" And then I prayed and did some stuff and went out to the porch for a minute. And went, "Wow, okay." And I talked to my kids and anybody, it's normal to me. I'm like, "Yeah, I just had some kind of golem thing on me and flung it off. I don't know where that came from, or if somebody sent it to me, or it's
Right?
something."
You never know. I mean, we know people that are tied up in some stuff, but they can do those things. They
I
can send you
I'm
things
aware.
you
I'm
should
aware of
be
that.
playing with.
I'm one of
Good you
those
flung it off.
very aware of that.
Gonna fling you off like a big booger.
I did. It was one of those, like wrestling moves. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Never after that, I never had a problem after that. I've seen grays, little footprints come in my room, the same old spot, walking, and
Oh,
it was neat. It was like in the carpet, about three
huh.
steps, and I can't see it. I can just see footsteps, and I looked down and went, Go, I can see your footprints, and it booked out, gone, and I was like, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
Julie does remote viewing for paranormal investigators, and she
Cool.
said that it's energy, and they can they follow her energy.
Ah,
So when she leaves, she has to cleanse her energy. So a lot of times, yeah, that's what you have to do. Is you have to you you, you just have to you have to pray. You have to do a little bit of sober thinking for yourself, and everybody does things a lot different in the way of cleansing. um I guess because I've been doing it so long, I usually just tell them to get lost and you're not welcome around me and you need to go away, and I just sit back and go you know I try to keep very positive in a lot of things. um and it's people sometimes wonder, because I've got one of them sense of humors. I can crack up with the best of them. I can say the worst jokes. But I always try to stay positive all the time, even when I'm sick, even when I'm tired, no matter what's going on. I try. Um, don't get me wrong. There's been times where I've been put in some really bad situations where I've just laid there and said, "Oh, uh, God, is it time for me to go home yet?" I'm just, but I just try to be positive. And the more positive that you are, sometimes things can latch out at you
oh yeah, I
and try to break that. But I'm too stubborn. I'm a very stubborn person. I'm not sure where I got that from, but I am very, very bullheaded, and I'm very stubborn. I'm going to do it my way. That's just the way it works.
That's
So,
what makes you you. It's
yeah.
you. You're
Yeah,
unique. We're all made
right.
different. I mean, it would be, to me, I used to tell my kids that too. Wouldn't it be boring if we're all the same?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would be bored out of my mind. I like the difference of people. I like the difference of culture. I like how just,
You know,
different foods and different ideas and different, just not just,
this is what I try to say. Like, especially nowadays, we have cancel culture. We've got this, we've got that. Oh no, nobody wants to play that game. If we were all the same and we all thought the same and we all did the same things,
it'd be so boring.
doesn't anybody think that that would be really weird? Like, what comes to my mind is like a prison and working on a chain gang. I mean, that would just not be right.
No?
I would think that I lived in a world with a bunch of robots,
Well.
all programmed to do the same thing over and over. We got enough of that in an everyday life of working.
Yes.
So I think it would be pretty doggone boring. We all cannot think alike, and we all cannot believe in the same things. And it's okay to have different opinions, and it's okay to be different on things. Because if we all thought the same exact way, this would be one hell of a boring place to be.
It would. But we were made different. We were made
I would think so.
different. I look at it as like the human body has so many organs and different parts and different things. But they don't, some of them don't know. Maybe does the heart know that there's like something going on down in the big toe? I don't know, but they're all working together. You get a virus and they all like band up together to help your body. And that's why I look at us like we're the body of Christ, we all have a little piece apart, like a little atom doing different things. And then you got the other ones, fighting. And it's like we're all in a body.
Now, I think that we
Yeah,
should all love and respect each other. I don't see anything wrong with that. I really think that there needs to be a lot more kindness in this world. I really do. But that's me saying people be kind. That's not me saying, okay, let's all go out and go rob a bank all at the same time. I mean, it's not, there's such a different way of everybody's thinking in life that, serial killers, Susie knows about them,
Yeah, I met a few of them.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I met a few of them. I probably have too.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
live
I don't know.
California
They didn't tell
anymore.
me. I have no idea.
But I did. My dad and my stepmom, when I was when I was younger, they bought a haunted house too.
Mm.
And the guy and his wife that sold it to my parents, the guy got really sick, got cancer, and then later he ended up dying. Well, we bought this big old, it had a basement and 2 stories, so it was like 3-story farmhouse. It was in Aurora, Ohio, and
Yeah.
out in the country on Mennonite Road. I remember. So we moved into this house, and my stepmom, she said that the closet was like the portal where the thing was coming through, and she's seen some stuff in there. But one day, we were having dinner downstairs, and I had to go upstairs to go to the bathroom. And so as I went up the stairs and around the corner, and I went past this room to go to the bathroom, we had these built-in wooden boxes that we put our toys in. And as I was walking by, one of the lids on this wooden box went like that. And I'm like, I'm running down the stairs, freaking out. And I'm like,
Mom, Jack just came out of the box.
yeah, I'm like, Dad, there's a ghost up there, and I'm singing it open in the toy chest, And my dad was like an alcoholic, and kind of like, I don't know, he was probably possessed by the demon. I don't know. He goes running up there with his long nose 22, and he's shooting up the house, trying. I'm gonna kill that ghost. He's shooting the toy box. He's going in the closet. He's shooting the house. I'm like, oh my God, I would never tell my dad I seen the ghost again. Okay.
Well, bullets don't work on ghosts.
It didn't work because my dad and my stepmom ended up selling that house to this man and his wife, and the wife got deathly sick and died. And the guy sued my dad because he said, "You sold me a haunted house and it killed my wife." Like my dad had anything to do with it.
I tried to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Shoot it. Oh my God.
I've just never heard of anyone doing that before. That's funny.
I had somebody tell me one time, I carry.
It was funny. It was funny.
I carry everywhere I go. So I was going with some people one time. I was up in Waco, and we were going to a cemetery, and I carried. And they're like, "Oh, do you think that's going to do you any good against ghosts?" I said, "It ain't ghosts I'm worried about." I said, "It's people."
It doesn't work on ghosts very well.
It doesn't work on ghosts. No spirits, man. It's the people.
I'm an eyewitness to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Needless to say, we had a bunch of holes in the house. Okay.
Norma said it works on ghosts if you're drunk. Right.
Probably made him feel better though.
Maybe it's a bad shot. I don't know. Maybe just miss that ghost. Shoot.
I've never seen that. My dad tried to do that with a BB gun because we had a bat in our house. He wasn't home, and I saw it in our bathroom. And I'm like, or my sister was down there and she's brushing her teeth, and she's like, "Mom, I see something, a shadow." My mom's like, "Oh, you're just messing around thinking she's doing whatever." My mom's in the closet. I'm down at the other, and I'm like, and all of a sudden my sister screams, starts running, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Mom, she's not lying. There's a bat right there." My mom's like, "What?" Stands up. My sister passed her by. We had a sliding glass door in our family room. I already had the dog in there behind the glass door waiting for them to come. and then she gets around to go get the keys to go down to where my dad was at. And he comes home, he puts on this plastic firefighter thing and a helmet, and he's got the oven mitts on. And then he grabs his BB gun and gets to go in the house. She's screaming, "You're not going to shoot the BB gun. The BB's going to go all over the place." And then he got the pool.
She should have hired my dad.
They probably would have had a good time.
Right.
Oh my God.
The bat would have probably still been going around with the ghost. That
reminds me of a drunken night with a whole entire police force out somewhere in the middle of the night deciding that they want to go and shoot things. Target practice in the middle of the night on a New Year's Eve, and I was the only sober one who drove everybody in a freaking bus. And I decided, okay, well, I'm going to stand way back here because these drunk fools, apparently they think they know what they're doing. And that's what that reminds me of. Ooh, coon, you missed the tree, you idiot. I'm drunk. What? Why are we doing this? So, I am not. Y'all sign this waiver. I am not responsible for anything you do while we're out here. But and there is something else that Sherry knows a lot about. But we're going to wait and talk about that after we take our 5-minute break, and that is UFOs. Susie knows about them too. And I did see that Julie said that aliens go by energy and not names, because they don't have names. They go by energy. So, yeah, I think I did see that somewhere. Yeah. Huh. I wonder if they can identify us by our energy also. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Huh. So if we if they knew who we were when we were in physical form, if we passed and our souls and our spirits, would they still know who we were then? I wonder. Hmm. Things that make you go,
Maybe.
I bet that's something I don't think I've never heard anybody talk about something like that before.
It's frequency, scalar waves.
Well, because when you astral travel, you're doing it with your soul or your spirit. Um, hmm.
Right?
Oh, they go by our energy too, Julie says. Okay, I see that. I could see that. Neat. So, Susie, you guys didn't stay in that house very long, did you?
Um, no, I actually ran away from home at 15 and got the hell out of there. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I wonder if your dad fixed the bullet holes before before they
I hope
moved.
so. I guess he probably had to sell the house. So, it was like, wonder who shot up the house.
I thought about it
What was
many
your mom
times.
saying when he was shooting up the house? You don't want to repeat that?
Well, I regretted telling him about that ghost. I'm telling you.
Susie, don't do that again anymore. Don't do it anymore.
Right?
That's pretty bad.
That was
Oh,
the case. We'd have a lot of shootings at our house,
right.
I used to know a police officer that used to live in an apartment complex that I was managing, and she was going to move out, and I'd gone in there, and there was holes everywhere. And I said, "What is this?" And she said, "Well, there was a mouse." I said, "Running across the wall?
Oh my gosh.
Why did you do this?" Well, come to find out that she was pissed off at her partner, and she, I was like, "You're a cop. You could have taken care of that in one shot. Come on now." She goes, "Oh, I just wanted to scare her a little bit." So I'm like, "Oh God, no." Ah,
Oh, Norma asks, where was my mom at? Well, when I was 12 years old, the courts put me with my dad and my stepmom. So I lived with him for like 3 years, and then at 15 I left, and then I think I was 17 or 18 when for like those I think there was like 5, 6, maybe 7 years. I didn't know where my mom went. She disappeared from my life. She went to Florida somewhere, and we found her later. She reappeared and came back into our life. So she went, you know, I don't know, somewhere in Florida.
everybody goes to Florida and just kind of fades away
Just
into the sun.
Yeah, she ended up after we the courts put me with my dad. I guess she was so upset that she ended up leave. Well, her and her husband had a deal where they separated, and she went to Florida, and then she didn't tell anybody, and then she lied and said she told her husband that she didn't have any kids, so she like lived for years and kept like this secret life and didn't tell anybody anything, and then finally decided to tell him, and brought us back into her life for a little bit. It was a crazy life I had. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy, I tell you, just crazy.
You know what's funny though, Susie? We have all been through so much crazy stuff in our lives, isn't it? nice that we can sit back and kind of go,
Yeah,
we're
I
here.
just glad that from an early age on, I fell in love with God when I was at kindergarten, and I always looked at Him as my true parent. So I never worried about. I used to make jokes. I said, God. I used to sit there. I used to sit in the grass a lot and say, God. Some people are so unfortunate that they have one parent that is really abusive to them or really bad. But I was so lucky I had two.
Gee, thanks for the memories.
So, but I got you. So, I always considered him my real family.
Norma.
So
Me too.
it just made my life better. So I've always been dependent on God.
Me
Right.
too. Since
So
I was
Norma said that her brother-in-law was playing in front of a mirror, getting ready for work, and he was practicing.
Huh? His
He was
Beretta went off?
practicing fast rod. His Beretta went off. You, Norma, let me tell you. my ex-husband, the one I was talking about earlier, I can't believe him. Him and I both used to work for Las Vegas Metro, and we never hid our guns. They were all over the house. My daughter grew up around them, and the first thing we taught her was to respect them, so she never touched them. And one night I had to go to work, and he was off that night. I don't even remember why he took that night off. I think it was his birthday. And so he was home, and I was at work, and I got a call to go to the station. I had a phone call that I had to come and take. So, yeah, they never let you live that stuff down, Norma, ever. So I get down there, I get to the phone, and I'm like, who is it? He goes, your husband. So I answered the phone. I said, hello. He's like, baby, you got to come home. I said, why? I think I shot myself in the leg. And I'm like,
He thinks he shot himself in the leg? Like,
that's what he
thinks?
said. I said, okay, first of all, let me tell you.
Doesn't know that he shot himself in the leg?
He was bleeding.
Did he hit his head at the same time?
I told him, I said, okay, first of all, let me ask you this, which I know is a stupid question, but have you been drinking? Well, yeah.
Right.
I said,
Okay.
then you shouldn't have been playing with that thing. You know
So
better.
that's why he
Handle
thinks he
your
shot
weapon
himself.
when it is loaded and you're drinking. So I get home, right?
Shoot.
I leave. Sergeant tells me, go home. When he comes in tomorrow, he is going to be reprimanded. That's all there is to it. I'm like, you think? I said, wait till I get home. You're going to give him nothing compared to when I get home. So I get there expecting to take him to the hospital, right? And he's sitting there on the couch. He's like, oh, I can't. Oh, and I looked at his leg, and it just looked like a slit. And there was something in it. I'm like, surely this is not a bullet. So I grabbed it and pulled it out. And he goes, ow, it was a piece of concrete. I said, show me where you shot yourself at. Right there in the leg. No, where were you standing? So he's like, over there, there's some blood over there. And I get down on my hands and knees and I start pushing into the carpet. He had shot into the carpet, into the floor, and there was concrete under there. The concrete came up and wedged into the leg. And I said, you dumbass, you didn't shoot yourself in the leg. You shot the floor. The concrete kicked your ass.
That is
he's
weird.
Like, what? I said,
ouch.
No, just been ass. I went and got pure alcohol and poured it on his open wound.
Like a ricochet.
Listened and screamed for a little while, and then I patched it up and said, you'll be fine. You're going to work tomorrow. It's the way it's going to happen. And then I was looking around trying to figure out where the bullet went. I never found that bullet. anywhere in that house. I don't know where it went. I mean, even we got to the point where I moved furniture, flipped my couch upside down just to see if he shot it in there, if it ricocheted. And I'm looking in the walls for holes. I mean, I went crazy in that house trying to find that stupid bullet.
Need a metal detector, huh?
I never found it ever. I don't.
All right, so we're taking a 5-minute break.
Yes, we are going to. We're going to take us a 5-minute break, guys, and we'll be back. And then we're going to talk about some UFOs and some aliens and special stuff. Well, come on, Brenda. What are you doing? You know what you're doing. Stop that. Video, where are you? Okay, there you are. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that stuff. So y'all hang out and we will be right back. We are back. Well, hello, puppy. What you doing?
Look who's on the show.
I know. Hey, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what her name is. Hello, puppy. Good girl.
That's funny. Sitting in the chair.
I wonder what kind of.
Like a big dog.
I was
Yes,
getting my
she
tea.
She's like, I got stories to tell.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right?
She's like, what's going on up here?
Well, she wants her own show.
They all do.
Yes.
Susie, how big are your puppies getting?
Let me go show you one.
They grow all the
Oh,
time.
they grow so fast.
I
Oh
know
my
it.
gosh, they do.
Good girl.
Norma,
What are y'all
God.
doing in here?
Norma, have you seen these babies right here? Norma, you need one. Hang
Oh
on.
my
We got to
gosh.
show you one of these. No, I do the babies.
Aw.
Look at big.
Oh,
Oh, little fat puppies.
they are
There's
so
a
cute.
little.
Aw.
Well, that means Athena's feeding them well.
Yeah, they are. They're little tubbies, little tubbies. Hey.
They got bigger since last week.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
God,
They're
they grow
huge.
constantly.
Yeah.
Them
Yeah,
white
they're
ones are
they're
beautiful.
barking and talking, and they're so cute.
They
Yeah,
are
she takes good care of them.
Soon they'll be out there running around, rolling around on the ground. Them white ones are not going to be white no more.
We used to
Okay,
have a
that-
white dog.
Oh, I think this one's even fatter. Okay, these are the. Here's a couple more.
You struggle picking those
Okay.
up.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
This
Yeah,
they
one,
they're
are.
look
big.
at it.
They're
That
twice
one's
as
really
high.
big.
Yeah, big and.
Aw.
Crap.
This one's got a little
Aw.
white.
Ring around his neck.
Little pudgy roll.
Yeah.
Look at those pudgy rolls.
They're so cute.
They're
Aw. Little pink nose.
sweet.
Little chunkers. Norma, they're little
Yep.
chunkers. You need one of those little chunkers, Norma. You want a
Oh,
white
they're
one?
so cute.
I
Oh,
have
and Athena's over there wagging her tail because I showed off her puppies. Come here,
I
Athena.
have never seen a pure white.
Come here.
I know what they are.
Border Collie.
Yes, thank you. I've seen black and white ones and red and white ones, but I've never seen
I've
the
never
pure
seen
white
the
ones.
white
Oh,
I looked them up the other
Okay.
day online, and they're
Ah.
gorgeous.
Aw.
oh, this is Mom. I don't know if you can see Mom.
Oh, she's so cute.
This is Mom. Yeah,
Tina.
that's. You
Oh,
see, you're on camera now, girl. There you
what?
go, good girl.
Now you
She's
better
like,
feed
I'm
me.
not ready.
Give me a snack.
My mom, I'm busy.
Where's Lily?
Outside
Running
with
around?
her kids. Yeah,
Just like running around her kids.
yeah, she's hanging out with her kids.
Susie kept
She-
those two kids.
I kept 2 of them. Yeah. Let me go see if I can show you one of those. They're so cute.
Yeah, I haven't
Hold
seen
on.
those since they were the size of these.
Oh, they're huge. Let's see. I can. Puppy.
Ah, you have a 14-year-old body. Yeah. Hooten thinks he's my bodyguard too. You ought to see him. He acts like he's just
Puppies.
gonna kill
Around
somebody.
here somewhere. Oh, and now the other ones are talking.
Did you hear that?
They're like, you calling us?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Puppy, come here, girl. Oh, I see Scooby. Scooby's coming in.
Scooby's like, hey, are you calling?
Well, the mom ran that way, so mom left them.
They're probably over at the barn.
Oh, there's one, a big one. Beige one went by.
Oh, that was Scooby Doo. Yeah.
Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo.
Hello,
where the pups
Woo. Where you been?
Puppy. I don't know where they're at. They're out somewhere.
They're out roaming.
They're usually on the porch over here, but they might be on the other porch.
Hopefully they're not out running around like Star, just making new homes all over the neighborhood.
Gosh.
Because Star runs all over the neighborhood and everybody.
Yeah, we had a dog a puppy that we found these 4 pups and we got her fixed and everything, and then she found out that some neighbors, give her extra special treatment. So she adopted some people down the road, and one of my neighbors put it on Facebook. Who's this beautiful dog belong to? And I was laughing, because she was ours, but I was trying to find her a home. Well, immediately this guy who owns this antique store says, "Oh, that's my dog. I found her 3, 4 months ago. She was a stray. Just let her go. She'll come back home." And I couldn't even respond. I just laughed. I was like, "Oh my God, Star found a home,"
She would not have her own home.
So Roger goes down to the mailbox every day, and she comes running up over there to greet him, and so I was like, how come? Because it's a ways away, our mailbox. It's pretty far away, and I say, how come I never get to see Star? I have never seen since she's like found her new homes, and so the other day I was leaving the mailbox and I turned up the road, and at the next county road, there she was. And I'm like, Star, and she got all excited and she was going to run out the road and a car was coming. I beat my horn. She like stopped, and then I pulled in because she knows, like, she's really smart. And when she was a puppy, she got ran over by a lady that came out here. It was a really rude lady. Ran over her and she was okay. So she knows that cars can hurt her, right? She just survived it.
Woo, what do you mean that you passed away last weekend and had a very weird experience?
But anyway, let me finish real quick, Brenda.
Go ahead.
And then we'll say. But anyway, I went over. I pulled over to the road, and she was so happy to see me, and I was like, I asked God, why haven't I ever got to see Star? And there she was.
Oh, that's
and she is so fat and so healthy, and I'm so happy. She has such a good home. But
that's awesome.
What happened now? Go ahead.
Oh, Woo's going to email me. He said it's personal. He left a message that said, it says, when he was on the other side, he saw some wild things, and doesn't look good for humanity. Yeah, and he said he passed away last weekend and had a weird experience.
Okay.
You better email me, mister. I
passed away last weekend. Very weird experience. What? He passed, but he came back. Okay.
You better. That's Susie's dogs.
That's not my dog.
That's not mine. Okay. That's Sherry's dog.
That's not my dog.
Look, we're not having a choir here, Mr. Putin. It's okay. Thank you. I know. Thank you. Come here. Thank you. Okay.
The show just went to the dogs, man.
Good. I'm glad. I heard it. I know. I heard it. It's okay. Okay. There you go. Oh, I know. You're such a tough little boy. Oh, my God. Oh, I know. It's okay. You're so tough. I know. Look, Putin, say hi to Norma. She hasn't seen me in a while.
Oh, he's so cute.
He is a cute puppy.
Aw.
Spoiled rotten, too. But he needs to be, because he's a darling.
He is. He is.
He is spoiled rotten.
Yeah. Only seen his hind end before.
Rotten little boy.
He's got the cutest little face.
Are you done barking? Huh? What's that?
Yeah, because now that I got you to hold me and pet me, that's all I wanted.
Is that a new girlfriend? Are you side-eyeing me? Oh, my God. I love when he gives me the side eye. Oh, stop it. It's all over with now. Quit. Here, drink some cold off my bottle of water. There you go. Is that good? Oh, nice and cold. So, now we're going to talk about some UFO experiences. Susie's even had some of them. Susie owns a ship somewhere out there floating around.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, did you ever hear that story, Sherry? Oh, for crying out loud!
The ships that you
Got
had.
the other one
I
going.
think I might have heard
I have-
one or two of you.
I have new neighbors, and they're young and they're very noisy when they go in and out of the house, and he hates them.
Oh,
He hates them. Pooh,
I let you know about it, huh?
stop. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's enough. Next.
It's the dog show.
Yeah, now mine's barking. You know, they can hear your.
Mine has peanut butter. I
Oh,
gave her
that'll
some-
work. There you go.
gave her
Here.
some that's what
Here.
I ran out to get was
That's
some
a
peanut
good
butter.
idea. Hang on. I
Bribe
got.
them with some doggy treats. Yeah.
Hang on. I got a treat. Yeah. Look at this. This is how they get fat.
I
You have
know.
to feed them to shut them up.
Mine's peanut butter in a
Hey,
hoof.
if it works, it works. Yeah.
All right. Now you be good and lay down now. Okay.
So you have a UFO,
Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
or
of
several
them.
stories. You have
Yeah,
several
I had
stories.
one on the first one was, I think I was like 22 or something. It was on a back
Uh-huh.
road. It always seems like when you're on the back road someplace in the middle of nowhere. And I was coming home from a small town, just taking the back roads home. And all of a sudden, I'm driving. I had a Z24 Cavalier back then, and it had a digital. It was like back then, not many people had a digital dash in their cars. And I'm driving along, cruising, and all of a sudden, I get the heavy, creepy feeling, and I start to look out the window, and it was one of those huge triangles. I mean, it was huge, bigger than a
A
couple.
triangle ship.
Black, yes, huge, drifting across the farm fields and stuff, just coming along. And I'm like, okay, maybe I just, need to go home. It's 2 a.m. or 2 something. I'm just seeing things. I kept on looking up and I'm like, oh my gosh, my car died.
Wow.
I'm coasting because I was going 55. And next thing you know, the whole thing went, and I'm still going. So I started praying, please don't take me. Please don't take me. Please don't take me. I didn't get taken. I just seen it going. It was drifting, like really slow drifting. And I got to the stop sign and then I had to make a left and it's straight on home. I swear I was probably going about 80. I mean, I gunned my car, took off just going. It kept on drifting slow,
Wow.
like no big deal. Like it was just cruising across. It was huge.
Nowadays, I'd have been running
Like
down
how
the street
big?
going,
How
please
big?
take me, please take me, get me
Huge.
out of
It
here.
was like, yeah, it was blacking out like a lot of space. A couple of football fields, huge, big, black.
I've seen video
That's
of something
big.
like that. People
Yeah, it
have
was
actually seen
19, let's see, I'd say 80, was it 1988 or 89? And it was like,
That was in Michigan.
yeah, it was in Moorville. It's this like tiny little space that they called back roads near Milan, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I'm not too far from Dexter, where they had the Dexter UFO thing. I think college students, I think, is in the 1960s.
I don't know what that is. Yeah. What is that?
Sheriff saw him, and Dexter and was chasing him. That's when they called what was his name? The UFO investigator back then. And when they came up and investigated, they said that we had swamp gas up out in Dexter and the farm
Swamp
areas.
gas?
Yeah, swamp gas is what they called it. I can't think of what his name was though. He did Project Blue Book and whatnot.
Project Bluebeam.
The one guy that
Blue
ran
Book.
it, and they did a
Oh.
movie about him.
Not Richard Greer or whatever. Greer.
No,
No.
not
Okay.
him.
Okay.
But when I saw that, I mean, I told my dad the next day. I'm like, Dad, I saw this ship, and he's like, he goes, oh, well, don't tell anyone about it, because if you do, because especially back in the, he goes, they'll think you're crazy. He always used to tell me that they'll lock you up if you talk about outside the house. And so I saw that one, and then what was the other? Oh, I got a picture, because when I lived in another place, this was in broad daylight. This thing was nuts. It was weird. It was like something, I don't know where the heck they scraped it out. I was trying to take pictures. I got my daughter to come because I dropped off one of my kids and I was coming down and I seen this thing floating in the air and I'm like, what is that? It looked like a giant pill, but I drew a picture of it. It was like all metal, like a big giant capsule pill, but it was all metal with rivets. So I
Huh.
was trying to take pictures. I yelled for one of my neighbors. He was outside, and I'm like, "Go over there and look, Ivy," because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only one. But nothing showed up on my camera, right on my phone camera. No pictures at all.
Huh.
It was like that or sideways, like a
No, it was floating just like this, and it was a tin can, metal, just all metal with rivets, and there was no windows
weird.
or anything, and it was just going along, and I'm like, what is?
What?
Yeah, I don't
Funky,
know.
a funky ship.
That was in 2017 or no, wait,
Huh.
2008 or 9. That was. Um, I've seen the silver orbs, the little tiny balls that go shooting around in the daytime because I was living out in another place in the country. And it's kind of near, like you could, Detroit airport's about like 30 minutes away from there and stuff. But I was out in the yard doing some gardening and all of a sudden I'm like, uh, John was yelling. He's like, what is that I'm seeing in the sky and stuff? And I'm like, what? And I come around and I go, oh, those are silver balls. They were silver balls. But I learned like they're
Weird.
scouts that they send out, just to
I
like,
mean, the UFOs don't even make sense. Some of these shapes and size, they're just so weird, right?
oh, they are. We had one, half the people, gosh, when was that? I didn't have my phone with me. I had a different dog at the time we were out walking, and it was like a cloud, a big giant cloud, and there was a bunch of electricity going through it, like coming out and going through. It wasn't
Oh,
like
okay.
heat lightning. It Because heat lightning goes across the sky,
Yeah,
it was in this big clump of cloud and it was moving
I've
like
seen stuff like that.
25 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, came from
Weird.
Dexter. That's that way. And then came across to where I was at because I was out walking and the wind was gusting and everything. And I was like, okay, I know that's not just a cloud with lightning. I know there's something in it. I didn't get to see it, but I'm at awe, like, wow, this is so cool. And because I didn't feel afraid or anything for that one. I mean, the first time that big one, it kind of scared me because I didn't want to be taken. But that one was weird, and a lot of people were reporting it. I had a friend that lived out further out that way, and she's like, "Did you see that crazy thing last night?" And on Facebook, people were putting it on that they saw it cruising through. Yeah, that wasn't not too long ago. Yeah, about 10 years ago, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I seen a one at 1:30 in the morning. That was really bad. I drew a picture. It's not really a good picture, but it was. I don't know if you see one of these, Susie. Those blood dripping ones. They look like it's
What?
dripping.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
Yeah,
Okay, that's weird looking.
just that's what I could
What was
see. That was
that?
my view. It was like at 1:30 in the morning, and I had
Wow.
my dog out, and I'm looking same direction. It's everything seems to be coming from the west side, and I had a neighbor out and I was trying to get him to come over and look, but he had his wife was making him pick up some stuff. And so I didn't want him to get in trouble. And I'm like, all right, it's okay. But yeah, that was scary. That one there, that red one, it was weird. It was like dripping. Like it just looked like it was coming down um liquid. Like
That's weird. What do you think that was?
like I'm trying to think of like a thick liquid, mercury. You know how it just
Okay.
kind of, and it was red. I've never seen anything like that, and I've looked into UFO stuff all my life, and I've never seen, not many people talk about something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of
Yeah.
people talking about seeing UFOs that have, it looks like there's blood or something dripping off of them, but it doesn't. What do they call those? Squid UFOs or something. It looks like
Oh,
they've got things.
What?
Yeah.
I never
And
heard of
I've
that.
heard them talking about them. It kind of looks like it's got stuff dripping off of them, but they're actually look like tentacles.
Well, I drove out like to see where the distance, trying to figure out a distance, and we have gravel pits. I didn't know we had a new one out further out that way, because when I drove by, and I'm like, well, what if it's out and there? It's a huge gravel pit that they've been digging and unearthing over that way, and it wasn't like that years ago. So I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
But it's farmland out that way too. It's a lot of farmland.
They like farmland.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty much where I've that's where I see all this.
We're in the desert and farmland.
Yeah, back roads on the country.
Well, okay, so that's the way it used to be. And now everybody sees things inner city. Like when they used to be out there in the middle of the desert, or because I lived in Arizona, we used to see stuff up all the time. But you have that out there and the farmlands, because they figured not as many people would see them. So if one or two people come and say, hey, I seen a UFO, people be like, yeah, you're crazy. But now that everything's like this inner city, they're all in the cities now where everybody can see. That's why I said I don't know why they're doing what they do, you know.
There's a man in New York that can see. He's been videotaping them or recording them, and he sees them. He gets a feeling or something, goes out and starts like, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Okay, Brenda, that day that I was out in the front yard with that coin.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I looked up and I saw a cloud and I said, hey, that's a cloak for a UFO ship, and I took pictures of it, and then I zoomed in and there's a UFO in it, and I just sent it to you on your deal, and it said it was on May the 16th of 2024 when I took the picture, and you can see it looks like you can show the picture on Messenger.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
So I sent a picture of the cloud, and then a picture where you see the little black thing in the cloud, and then I zoomed in on the little black ship that was in the cloud.
Wow.
Oh, I pulled up the
I can see it.
Black thing.
There's a little dot in the cloud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now the other,
hang on.
there's one with the cloud that you can see the shape of it. It looks like the whole cloud. You see it from where I was standing, and I knew there was a ship inside there because that one cloud just came hovering over my property that day when we were out there, and I'm like, there's a ship in there. It was so suspicious looking,
This
I've
is
seen some cloud formations that are like tubular, that long tube, and then there's nothing else around, and it's like, okay. And I saw one kind of square.
There it is.
Oh,
there's
wow.
the ship. Yeah, there's a zoom in on it. That's what was inside the cloud.
Wow.
Now show the actual cloud from a distance. The one with the.
okay, Chloe. There it is. Okay. Do.
There it is.
Oh,
So that's what So you can see that cloud does not look like the other clouds. Okay,
You can see the top of it right there, and the bottom is you can see it.
Yeah, it just shows up on my property. I'm like, there's a ship in there, and I took the picture, and there was.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the others.
That's right. One of these things, not like the other, was. They try to cloak themselves in the clouds and hide, but I caught you. How you sneaking, watching us?
Well, I think that they used to be able to get away with that way before a lot of people were awake to the fact that there are other things out there. So now it's like people see things that are odd and unusual, and they're like, oh yeah, we know what that is. So they're not as sly as they used to be,
Yeah, we're getting
or they
wise.
just don't care. God, my sinuses hurt so bad. My
Well,
face hurts.
more people have cameras, phones now, and people carry them all the
Yeah,
time, so they're getting
we're snap,
noticed.
snap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because sometimes if you can't see them with your naked eye or like with ghosts or anything, and then you take your pictures and you got
zoom
things.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, I love taking pictures. I just so you can see more of what you can't with your regular eyes,
Right.
right.
especially
And
the
cameras,
cloud.
So,
yeah,
what
cameras
other
are a lot better
UFOs did
now.
you see, Sherry?
Um, I don't know if it was. I do have a video, but I don't know where it's at. But it was. This was not too long ago. I don't know if it was a UFO. I don't think it was. I think it was something else. But it's something that we don't know about because I was out this way
Maybe.
with one of my dogs, and I saw like these two lights, and I'm like, "What? It's not an airplane." Because there's a small
Oh,
airport not too far, and I'm familiar with airplanes and I grew up around airplanes and stuff. So I'm always watching the skies and this thing, it moved, but it was moving slow, but it was two lights. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go get my camera and there, my phone and videotape it. And went back out and was taking pictures and it was moving, but slowly. And it stopped when I was paying attention. I'm like, I don't know what you are because it was like a oblong kind of round, but it had like two headlights. But they were kind of further apart. It was,
that's crazy.
and it was kind of like aware, like they knew I was watching them, and I've got my phone. I don't care. I'm just standing under the light, like you
They
know.
didn't seem too worried about it, huh?
No, I when it comes to that stuff, it doesn't bother me. Like I said, after the first scare, I'm fine with it now. It's okay. Um,
I know
But I
that.
haven't seen any lately. I mean, I had the cloud formation. I don't know if I took a picture of that. It was weird because it kind of looked square, like a corner, square, oblong. And it was out this way. And I'm like, well, that doesn't look like no normal cloud. That's got two sharp corners. I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, I
Yeah, that's
draw. So I being an artist, or well, some of the drawings aren't that good, but I like to draw, and so I think that's how I see things, anyways. Like it's easier to see, like in the clouds. Have you ever seen cloud cities or ships?
I've seen, people take pictures of them. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
people walking on the clouds. How about videos where you see people or giants, walking
I've
on
seen
clouds,
that, the giants, because some of them, those clouds laying there look like a big giant. And I'll point it out to my kids, like, look, that looks like a big giant laying down right there. And for one year, it was weird. We had we called it the cloud, the wall, wait, the cloud of wall, or the wall of cloud or something. But it was like on every Wednesday. It was like on every Wednesday, this huge wall of cloud. And it was probably 2010 or 12, or in between that time. And my son and I, and we would come home and it was huge. It would go for miles. And it was like flat on top and on the bottom. And my son and I would just notice that every Wednesday, started keeping track. I'm like, wondering, and he would
Oh,
ask, I wonder if we're going to see that cloud, that wall cloud again. And I'm like, I don't know. This has like been happening and then it stopped.
weird.
It was weird. It was a big wall, cloud wall. Is what,
Cloud wall. Don't run into that.
yeah, no, it was, I don't know. And it was only in a section.
Well, I know that Woo, he lives in Florida, and he catches a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot. So
Yeah, I believe that. They got Navy base is down that way too, Jacksonville, and
Yeah, I lived in Jacksonville. That's where I met a couple serial killers down there.
there's I've been down there. Me and my girlfriend's husband at the time, he shipped out and I shipped in, and
On the
there's
on a
some.
Navy base, on the Navy,
Yeah, she lived outside the Navy of Jackson. Yeah, her
yeah,
husband was.
I've been on the U.S. Nimitz and a couple of the ships down there. The couple of my friends worked on it, so we used to go with them, eat lunch there at the Navy base.
Yeah, we
And I
went.
went on the Nimitz, and one was a battleship and one was a flagship I went on.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of different
Yeah.
Navy bases and shit and places. Tried to get in there once, twice. I missed the math twice by 49%. And I'm like, no, that does not happen. They just didn't want me in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Navy bases have a lot.
Uh,
They have them on the East Coast too. My mom finally admitted because she admitted out, I guess when her and my dad were out in the Poconos, she'd seen some. And out in Rhode
Poconos in
Island.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where I was conceived.
I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
I think it has
Yeah.
to do. I think it has to do with the water,
That's
Yeah.
funny.
because it's got all that ocean out there. I think that's why there's a lot of activity in Nevada, and we all know why.
Yes.
Let's not pretend like we don't. But when I
I think
used
there's
to
a
live
lot
in
of
San
activity
Diego,
everywhere, Brenda. I mean, yeah. Well, look, in biblical times, you can go back to those old paintings and you see all these UFOs over Jesus and Mary and, Moses. And I mean, this stuff has been
I really did.
always
Yeah, but I
everywhere.
really did see a lot, because when I lived in California and I lived in San Diego, and I lived right next to the naval base out there, because I was dating a guy in the Navy out there, and there was a lot of stuff, and he used to always sit there and say all the time, you know, we see a lot, but we're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're
Right.
not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
then when Ancient Aliens came on, I
yeah,
watched that not because of I believe in every word that they said, far from it, but just the places I like to watch, where they were, where the places were, and around the world, because it's really interesting to me of some of the old ones. And then like Michigan's got a lot. Like Lake Michigan, they have a lot of UFO stuff that has gone on that side of the state. It's like, I don't know, we got a lot of things. We got like Bigfoot up north, Sasquatch. I haven't seen any, but when I was camping up there last summer, they have a cutout with the Sasquatch up in that area. But so we got Bigfoot stuff, UFO stuff, a lot
yeah.
of fun
Um,
stuff.
Woo, I know that Utah's pretty active. I got a friend that lives out there, um, that I used to go to high school with, and he sees stuff out there all the time. And when they're not dealing with bad politicians, they're dealing with UFO sightings.
Well, yeah, Lake Michigan has Chicago, and Chicago's got the Navy school out there too. But yeah, they like Lake Erie. There was a guy that used to live. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
grew up
moved to.
around Lake Erie.
Yeah, he moved to Florida. Everyone goes to Florida, seems like. But he was in Ohio, and he was up there, and he used to do videos. He still does. He talks about it, but from what was coming out of Lake Erie, up in that way.
That's what they say. There was a lot because, well, they had Serpent Mound there in Ohio.
Yeah, I've been
That's
there.
real ancient. So, I think that's, there's a lot of activity, in Ohio. Probably Michigan, Ohio.
Yes.
I would say it's everywhere. When I was in Florida, I used to have this one UFO following me everywhere I went, and I'd be like, it was like obvious, it would just follow me, and I'd see. So I remember seeing UFOs always up in the sky,
Oh, yeah. I mean, we couldn't. Like my sister, I don't think she's ever seen anything. My mom, she admitted she's seen one, but she doesn't like to talk. She doesn't like to talk about anything spooky and stuff. But it's funny that she likes to watch some spooky shows or whatever, but she doesn't want to have it in reality. Like she just wants to watch it as entertainment. And I'm like, okay. I go with the reality part, and the entertainment part I don't watch. I don't watch
Hey,
scary movies.
Hey Brenda, I sent you a picture of Mary and Jesus, and there's that
Ron,
little like that a little UFO above their head, just like the one I took a picture of. And then I sent you another one, another painting with
I
UFO.
vomit.
There it is. See the little black UFO over Mary's head?
Oh yeah, in the corner.
Yeah, and it looks exactly like that
Mhm.
little black UFO that I saw.
Yeah, it
And then I
does.
say, right?
It
And
does.
then there's an. I know. I was like, because when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, that's just like the one in the Mary picture. And there's another one I sent you, Brenda, with the UFOs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
These are
Uh,
some religious pictures with, because there's all kinds of language of UFOs in the Bible. It talks about the chariots. They rode up and down in. There you go. So I don't know if you could see that very good, but yeah, those are UFO
I
paintings
don't
with
think I can make
I
it
remember
bigger.
those. Yeah, I remember seeing
yeah,
those.
yeah. So there's and those are paintings that are very old, and they're putting UFOs in it. So UFOs have been around forever.
Well, they have them in Egypt. They try to like scrape out. It's like really high in this one build. I can't remember the name of the building, but they have like a helicopter, a UFO thing, and
Oh
something
yeah, I've
else
seen
that's
that.
yeah. It's
Hmm.
up in. I can't remember what pyramid. You could probably find it online because they have had it on. Many people have shown it, and they kind of are lined up. And that's in stone. So yeah.
Yeah, people have been seeing UFOs forever, but they're just all different shapes, sizes, colors, everything. It's just you never know.
Yeah, especially when I seen like that red one. I'd never seen one like that anymore.
That's a weird one.
It
Yeah.
is. It had a it was just like bad, really bad, heavy, dark, bad feeling. Just like
Huh.
there's like nothing good that I got from it. Nothing. Just,
Might have
Now,
belonged to the reptilians.
have you heard this that okay,
no,
like
it didn't feel like
some of
them.
the theories of the UFOs is that and I've heard this a lot, that a UFO is sort of like alive and it connects to the person that drives it.
Yeah,
Like it actually, yeah. You've heard
yeah,
that? What have
I
you heard about?
yeah,
Mhm.
how they connect to the person, like biometrics or their field, their frequency or scalar waves and DNA, that only their frequency and biometrics can go with the living ship. The ship like has a consciousness and it has its own biometrics and frequencies, and they can merge together as like one. It's not like it's a consciousness kind of thing merging. It's not like you know metal
Yeah.
connection and stuff. So, like, nobody else can steal your ship. Nobody else can fly your ship. Penny Bradley talks about that she flew in, and it's her ship. She was
Yeah.
like tuned to it, you know. Um,
Cuz we
so
talked with Penny about that, and cuz I had a experience when one day the ship I used to have this UFO that followed me everywhere when I was in Florida, Jacksonville, and everywhere, Key West. And so when I got to Texas, I told this guy that I see UFOs all the time. He goes, I never get to see one, and it was his birthday. I said, okay, well, let's go to Mount Benel and I'll show you a UFO. So we went up on the mountain, and then I psychically called it to come, and it was like a little star. It shot across the sky above us, and that's all I expected to see. But the thing came down over my head, and it turned into a UFO with lights all the way around it.
oh my
And it
gosh.
was, and I mean, it was just right above my head. And I went, no, and it went shoo, shoo, took off, and I was like, and then you know, years later, talking to Penny Bradley, I said, what if that was my ship? And I called it and it came to me, and then I sent it off or something, like, because it was a small ship. It was probably like a one-seater, you know,
Right.
and and so she talked about how that's what Brenda was bringing up earlier, is so I have a feeling, because when I was like in high school, one day, all of a sudden I just had like this vision. I was I was like in a ship, and all the control panels were in front of me, around me. I was in a UFO, and I just had this vision, and I knew the ship, and I knew all the control panels. I knew how to fly the ship, and it and then I was like, wow, that was a weird memory. Like, how do I even know about inside of a UFO and how to fly it? Like, it was my ship, you know.
Probably
Are
was.
you sure you weren't involved in a 20 and back, Susie? I'm
Hey,
just
who knows,
curious.
man? I mean, I don't even know anymore. This world is so weird,
We could be in everything, and who knows?
you know.
Just saying. I mean, it's like sometimes when we sit here and we think about it, I still struggle with some parts of my life being hit and miss, you know. And I always believe that saying that everybody has, that your brain doesn't remember it because it doesn't want you to protect you from it. So I remember, and I started to remember different things when they were mentioned. So it brought back memories. But when I still have parts that were missing, and I cannot remember those at all, and I think to myself, good God, how bad was it? I mean, for my brain to sit there and try to keep it from me, how bad was it?
But wouldn't that be kind of cool if God gave us all our little own ships to just zip, get around, like, that were connected to us,
I am
like
all for
wings?
going. Look, I'm all for going out to the house, call that thing back again. Let's go take off and go
I
explore.
mean, hey, it'd be safer than some of these airplanes they fly around in,
Good.
probably.
I
Yeah.
don't know. They would have to learn to bounce off from each other because, the way people have been driving lately, I wouldn't want a bunch of people up in the air.
When they talk about flying cars, my problem is
Ugh,
you can't drive on the ground. What is going to
right.
happen in the
I don't
sky?
want
So they've
them.
got to make those things non-crashable, rubber bumpers.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Conscious of other ships out there flying around, right? Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be
you
conscious
know,
now in the plastic metal machines.
yeah. I mean,
I think it's a good idea. I think we all need our little angel wing ships, to
They'll
get around.
probably be our future,
Yeah.
or you know,
you don't
kids.
need to know how to fly this thing. It'll basically fly itself. You just tell it where it needs to go. That would be the
Yeah.
only way I would trust anything like that. Because
That'd
people,
be
like
kind
I
of fun.
said, people can't drive on the ground,
Right.
much less I would trust them
Well,
to
if you just think you want to go somewhere, it responds to you because it's conscience. It has its conscience.
You'd have to be
It's
careful with that too.
you know
If
all the
you're,
all the
you
drive-through
end up
places
someplace you
will
don't
have
want to
to
be.
well,
all the
I met this guy one time. I got a ride. I was hitchhiking in Jacksonville, and a guy picked me up, and I'm pretty sure he was an angel because when I got in the car, he started telling me that in heaven, if there's like all these different like planets basically, and that you can have your own planet, and it can be exactly what you want it to be, right? It could be a beautiful mountains and ocean, and you can go visit other people by thinking. You can travel with your mind. He said you can travel with your mind, and he was telling me about this, and I was like a kid. I was like a teenager, and I was in the car with him, and I looked at him, and I thought, because it struck me very odd that he knew so much, like talking like that. And I said, I got suspicious, maybe he was an angel. I said, how do you know how do you know so much about heaven? You know, like how you can travel and stuff like that. And he had stopped the car and he says, "Well, I gotta go now." And I mean, it was like that was the end of the conversation. Like he wasn't going to answer my question, and so I was like, "Okay." So I got out. I opened the door, but when I opened the door to get out of his car, the whole world had stopped. Like the cars on the highway, everything was silent. Like the whole world, literally, time stopped. And I looked around, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" I was in shock, and when I shut the door, it all started back up, and he drove off.
What
And
did
I'm
he
like,
look like? Like what color?
"A
Did he have
regular guy?"
just did he have white hair or brown
I
hair?
don't I don't remember, you know, like all the details of him, but just the just the things that he was talking about of how you get around in heaven and by thinking, you know, like with your mind.
There was a
And you could
lady, a friend of my mom's that it was in the summer, and her and her husband are farmers, and he went to go back to the house, and she was on the tractor, and something happened that the tractor flipped on her, and she's
oh,
out in the field, and he got back, and he went to go get help, but there was a guy that all of a sudden out of nowhere appeared in the field, walked up to her, and her name is I think it's a Susie too, and she's an
Susie.
older she's an older lady, and
Susie.
she but this man walked up to her and was talking to her and saying, "Your husband's getting the help you need. You're gonna be okay." She's still alive. This happened in
Wow.
90 or 89 summer of
Yeah. It was a while
98.
back.
Yeah, it
Wow.
flipped on her, but they didn't think she was gonna make it. But he says, "You're gonna be completely fine." That was in the summer. That was in August. And then I got carjacked and run over my lower left leg because I was on my way to work on a Sunday morning, and this guy went to go steal my truck, and
Uh-oh.
he hopped in, and I grabbed the door handle because I was going to beat him up because I had to get to work and I was going to rip him out of the
You're like,
car
"Oh no, you're not doing, you know,
because you
it
I
ain't
was a
happening today."
bartender and I lifted kegs and all this other stuff and carrying kids. No, I didn't have time for that. I had to be to work. But he locked the door and started going, and I was running along the side of the car, got my hand unstuck from the thing, and then kind of flung off and did a tuck and roll, but my leg got caught. But I didn't know. I jumped up after that happened. I heard people screaming, and I went into the gas station, and a man came in the other side, and he says, "You're going to be okay. I saw what happened." And he had white hair, really white hair, blue
Oh,
eyes. He older gentleman. He looked older, but he had like beautiful, like flawless skin.
so it kind
And
of
the
reminds you
young
that could be like angelic or something, huh?
Yeah, and the young kid, poor gas station kid, was freaking out. He's like, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I have a tire mark on my leg and and on my shoe." And I'm like, "I
Change
Wow.
my
can't go to
tire.
work." I kept on telling him, "You got to call my job." I was so devoted. I'm like, "I can't go to work. They got to know I'm opening up the restaurant. I can't." But the man kept on saying so on the way to the hospital. I was thinking about it. I'm like, he couldn't have seen me because where the gas pump was, when he came into the station, the back of the station had a cooler and it's a brick wall. And where I got run over was on the other side. So if he was pumping on one side, he can't see through the building. He can't see through the brick walls, through the coolers on the other side. But he said he saw everything. He goes, "I saw everything. You're going to be fine. You're going to be okay." He just didn't say that I was going to be, being disabled ever since then and falling apart and having to learn to
Yeah.
walk and all this other stuff. But,
We're
I'm
falling
still
apart.
here.
I had a, you know what? I had a weird deal when that same house that I was staying at when that what I say angel guy was telling me about how you get around in heaven. Um, I was sitting under this carport one day, and I had a dog with me that I had found, and I had a dream, and then the dream came true, and I found this dog, like the dream, and I was sitting there under this carport talking to God with this dog, and I was like so unhappy that my life was just so like miserable at that time in Jacksonville, And I said, God, is my life ever going to get any better? And the dog turned at me and he said, yeah, it'll be okay. You'll be all
Oh
right.
my
It'll be better.
gosh. I would
And I'm like, yeah, I looked at the dog and I said, what did you say? Say that again. And then the dog just looked at me like a dog, and I was like, I like, God just like used the dog to talk to me, to tell me, like what the heck,
they do that though. I've heard
You know,
that.
if I didn't know Susie any better, I would say, what were you drinking? I know she's not a drinker. So.
No, I believe that. I wouldn't have thought that. That's crazy though that the dog did that. But God can use anything to communicate to
Yeah.
you.
Anything,
Yeah.
anybody.
That he
Yeah, he
created.
talked through that dog, I was like a human, like he just spoke to me. Yep, it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
I would have jumped back for a second. I was like, no, I don't want to be Dr. Doolittle.
What? What did you say that again? And the dog never talked to me again. I mean, like in that language, anyway. It was like just
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I've
been so tired, and my allergies are so bad right now. My face hurts. I feel like somebody smacked me in the face with a sledgehammer. Oh, really? I hurt all up in here, all around here, all through here.
It's your sinus cavities.
Yes. God.
Tap them. Doing
my
allergies. Yeah, your sinus cavities. That's what it is. I've been having those. We've been having up here, the barometric pressure going up warm, and then it's like snowing and raining the next day, and we're all got the heat on again. And
then the other day, my right ear, my other left. You know how your ears will kind of like equalize?
Yeah.
Well, my right ear did, and it didn't clear up. I couldn't hear out of my right ear all day. And
wow.
I kept plugging my nose and blowing, like trying to pop them, and it didn't work. Nothing worked. I couldn't hear out of my right ear all day. Yeah, and Jack was getting so pissed at me because every time he said something, I'd be like, what? Why'd I have to keep repeating myself? Because I can't hear.
People don't get that.
Because I want to hear you say it again, because it was so much fun the first time. I mean, what the crap do you want from me?
I know that one because I grew up with ear infections on and off and couldn't hear a lot in school. Kids, I learned how to read lips. I taught myself sign language just because of it, but I would just sit there and it's like, I didn't hear what you said.
My 2-year-old grandson has learned how to do the alphabet in sign language.
Yeah, they're teaching the kids now, which is great to do that. Well, they didn't have that back when we were younger. I mean, I had to go to the library. I kept on telling everyone I thought I was going deaf, and even the doctors. So I started teaching myself sign language just in case I was getting a jump on it.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to get old one day and not be able to hear anymore, so I might as well learn.
I better get prepared now.
Right? Been confirmed. I'm like half deaf in this ear, but
I'm tone deaf. But they told me that they wanted to give me hearing aids to help with the tone, but
they don't work.
Squawking in my ear.
They gave me something that was the not most intelligent design, in my opinion, that if you can't hear out of this ear or you have a little bit of hearing, you should be able to have a hearing aid to hear. But they gave me something that takes it from here and then shoots it over to your head. So all sound comes in the ear that I can actually hear out of.
Sherry, you were talking about Penny Bradley, and we had her on our show. And right after we had her on the show, Brenda gets a knock on the door by 2 men dressed in like suits, right? And they like want to know what Penny Bradley was talking about. And I thought,
crazy.
And yeah, and like why would they come? to her apartment. We were like, yeah, well, if you want to know, why don't you watch the show? I mean, come on.
Actually, that was the first time I ever met Penny, and I knew nothing about her, and I'm like over here thinking, well, you obviously know more about her than I do, and I bet you know where she lives. So ask her.
What'd you tell them when they come? Brenda's so funny. Now
I don't understand. No, I don't
understand?
Get off my doorstep.
It just like shuts the door. Bye. Like,
Well, they go home saying, I do not ever want to come back to this bitch's house again.
Well, that's quite interesting.
So I'm like, they were interested in knowing, what, because she's talking about ships, because as I talked to Penny Bradley, I got to thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe that was my ship, because it's been following me for a long time, and it came when I called it, and I'd already, like, years before I ever saw it, back when I was in high school, I saw it. I had, like, I knew every little knob and button on this dash,
It's yours.
And I'm like, yeah.
It's yours.
I know, right?
I claim it. It's mine. Yeah.
The first time she was on the show, she was talking about what she used to do in her Q clearance. So, yeah.
In her what?
Her Q clearance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, that makes them interesting. I guess,
I know. I just can't believe they come knocking on your door, Brenda. Like,
I am the best
crazy
to play stupid, regardless. I don't even know what that means.
What? I don't know what you're saying.
And they know I'm lying. Huh? The doctor says I can't hear. And I'm blind too, so leave me alone.
And I got sinus issues. Leave me alone.
I can't see who I'm talking to.
I got allergies and I'm allergic to you. Which is really weird that I have allergy issues, because I love certain perfumes and colognes, men's colognes. But I am allergic to my cat. That's a no-brainer. She's here, and I don't feel like shaving her, so that won't be happening.
So you're probably having cat allergies, yeah.
Yeah, and but I take
cedar allergies.
Benadryl every night, and I'm allergic to just the outside, and then over here, and it has been worse since we've been here, and I think it has a lot to do with that water treatment plant back there too, because there's just some horrendous stuff that comes off.
You smell stuff up there all the time. Yeah.
God, in the worst way. I don't even want to go outside anymore. I love being outside when it's cool, because in the summertime I can't go hang out outside for very long. So I love being outside when it's nice and cool, but I can't, because that's when it's cool is when that treatment plant is. You can smell it. You don't smell it all freaking summer, but you smell it when it's cool. It's like, are you kidding?
It's like she's coming up to get a breath. Crank it up.
I know. And
hey, Brenda, my place that I used to live in Bastrop, Texas, which is a real shithole. Okay, I live down the road from the rendering plant. Where they have all the dead animals, and so the smell was horrific. Well, after I sold my property to this lady, she's Chinese, right? I love her, right? So my neighbor who lived next door to me wanted to buy my property so bad. And so he talked to her and he says, Julie, want to buy the property. She goes, oh no, John, you don't want to live here. It smells really bad. Really, really, really bad. You don't want to live here.
It's really, really bad. At least she's
But
honest.
I think that it didn't bother me as bad when I smoked. When I smoked cigarettes, it didn't bother me as bad because when I smoked, my senses weren't as heightened.
Heightened. Yeah.
So, but now it's like it'll go if I go outside right now because it's cooler. It's 42 degrees outside right now. If I go outside right now, it'll hit me like I ran into a brick wall.
Well, you got pollen right now too.
Yeah.
Coming.
It's
Okay.
53 here, and you're in the 40s. We're a little bit warmer.
And the whole yippee
52.
cloud seeding that they are doing,
Yeah. See,
you know,
Yeah, they
that's
like to mess with
constant.
the weather, don't
That
they?
is constant,
It's every day.
I
It's
look like a waffle iron outside.
we get X's.
Although,
We get the big X's. X marks the spot.
although
I think
it's
a lot of
illegal.
ETs are doing that too. I do. I think a lot of it
I think they
is
have it perfected a little bit better where it doesn't harm everything, but
yeah. I think there's angelic things going on, creating different weather.
and I just don't go to the doctor for my allergies and when my sinuses hurt because I've had to have my sinuses drilled before. And that's not a fun adventure. I mean, I would rather an ET stick his little long finger up my nose and drill out my head than I would what they did because that was ridiculous. I have never, I mean, literally, I think I knocked some of my own teeth loose when they did it because I had my jaw clenched so bad.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Never heard of that. Such a thing. It makes my face hurt.
It is the most god awful thing. I think now, though, I think they kind of try to put you to sleep with it now instead of doing it. But me, because I'm allergic to so much, and I'm even allergic to anesthesia, they have to really watch me when they put me under for a surgery bad. I woke up when they were cutting off my leg because the anesthesiologist dropped the ball. He didn't pay attention. And when I did, they only had one of my arms tied down. They usually tie down the arm that they put the IVs in. But my other one was loose. And when I woke up, apparently I sat up and grabbed for my leg and they almost got my hand. So, yeah, so they have to watch me and pay very, very close attention to me if I'm being put to sleep for anything. They can't give me.
You know what I was thinking about when you guys were talking about all that weather stuff too?
What?
In the book of Enoch, it talks about there's like these portals where the sun and the moon travel through. There's like the sun, there's 360 portals, right? And they're like tubes, they're like glass tubes. And it's just what it says in the firmament, right? They go in it. And in them, they have windows, or so they like what it says, open up the windows of heaven. So they have windows that the angels literally decide to open up a window and let the good rain come down, or the ones that let the bad storms and lightning come through. So it's actually designated by the higher ups that are in control of the weather. So the bad can come through or the good can come through depending on, which window in these tubes or these portals that they open up from these portals, because it says like that's why the sun or the moon, like it goes in one end of, and it's like there's 300. So when you have the seasons, they go through certain ones that are shorter or longer, and that's why they're directed by the angels, each one where they enter in and they go through, so that's why we have these seasons. Everything has been like set up like that up there. It's weird, when you read about that stuff,
Someone had a video that they did with the AI I watched on YouTube this week, and they were showing it. So they had it like the different windows showing the moon and the sun, how long they stay there till they move to the next portal window. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, a lot of the, stuff is controlled by the angelic, either good angels or bad angels or whatever going on with the good storms and the bad storms. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're just down here sticking it out.
Hanging on a wing and a prayer. You know,
Here
like,
we
hey,
are.
help.
Here we are.
Oh boy.
It's like sitting back waiting what's going to happen next.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Exciting things.
Crazy world that we live in.
That's what, you know, when the temperature gets really stupid and, you know, I said somebody needs to get fired for their job up there. They did a really bad job of setting that thermostat, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like they care or anything.
Yeah, fire that one. He's not doing a good job. It's too hot.
You're fired.
It's too hot.
You're fired. Get Trump on it. You're fired.
Yeah, he does that well.
Still waiting for him to fire the ones that already need to be fired.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of firing to do.
he does. He does.
I should tell him, I think I want to help you. Those are my famous words. You're fired.
Right?
Don't even bother to pack your shit. Just leave.
Just
You're
leave.
fired. I don't want to look at you anymore. Matter of fact, just put a bag over your face as you walk out the door.
No, run out the door. Just go.
Right? Oh my goodness. Well, hey, look at what time it is. We went over.
We did.
We're talking as if we were offline. Kiki, what are you doing?
Huh?
Kiki,
Oh.
what are you doing?
She wants the peanut butter.
Oh, it's like, hey,
I brought it in my room. It's like,
look, peanut butter.
Oh my gosh! Look at that look.
What are you gonna do with that? What
she
are
has
you gonna
she
do?
has her own jar.
That's funny.
I have a hoof. I have one of the hooves,
Yeah,
like a
You
cow
put it-
hoof or something.
yeah.
And I layer it in there. And then usually if I get enough in there, then she'll lick it off and then she'll chew on it and she'll leave me alone. But tonight I brought the jar in my room and she's like, oh,
I want more peanut butter.
Yeah.
yeah. It's going to be peanut
That's
butter
funny.
tubby.
Mine like peanut butter too, but I get the honey roasted peanut butter is the peanut butter I like. And boy, I'll tell you what, they think that they need to eat the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, no. You get a little bit on a cracker and that's it. You ain't getting no more. Ah. I finally got my older dog to lose weight. He dropped quite a bit of weight, so he looks pretty good now. But now I have a little Chihuahua who doesn't eat a whole lot when he does eat. So I feel like sometimes I got to feed him a couple times. But he's got rolls on rolls.
Yeah, he's pretty healthy. He's not missing no meals. Okay.
I was rubbing his, because look, every night before I go to sleep, I get into bed, he jumps up on my chest and sits there, and I have to massage him from the bottom all the way up to the top of his neck, around the front, up his neck, on his head. And I was rubbing his back the other day, and I went, oh my God, you got like two big old rolls right here. Where'd this come from?
I noticed that when I was petting him, he has rolls,
He does have rolls.
jelly rolls. He has got jelly rolls.
So now it's time for
It's like a
him
big
to go
jelly
on-
roll.
him to go on a diet. And the problem with him is when he gets hungry, he does like me. If my stomach is completely empty and I wake up and I just ignore it and don't eat, I will get sick. He does the same thing.
Aw.
And then I'm running around like cleaning
He's
up.
not too
bile
bad.
after
He's not
everything.
too bad.
So
He's okay. He's all
he's a
right.
chunky
He
monkey.
probably has a slow metabolism too.
He's pretty active, so he runs
Not
around.
really.
So
Sometimes, but not really. He sleeps a lot. He always wants me in bed with him. He will come
Oh.
over here when it's time to go to bed. I'll be sitting here with my leg up on the bed, and he'll be pawing at my leg, and I'm like, what? And he'll, I'm like, what? I know what he wants. So he
Oh, they
waits
get
for me. I
bossy.
pull the covers down on the bed and he gets all happy. Okay, we're going to bed. We're going to bed.
They get bossy.
And I don't care if I stay in bed all day, he'll be in bed all day. He'll get up, drink some water, go in and use his little thing with his pee pad. He'll pee and he'll come right back to bed and go right back to sleep.
She does stay. And when I lay down or whatever, she'll stay there till I get up. She's good about that, even when she was really small. And I'm like, that's cool. But, if I'm not laying down, then she's going to, do what she's been doing up on the computer and
Yeah.
bossing me.
I mean, they are. I always ask him what's wrong with him, and Jack
I'm over
always
here
says,
yawning, guys, because I have a big horse show tomorrow. I have to get up
shoot, that's right.
early, and me and the boy are going to be chasing cows tomorrow.
You and the
having fun.
boy. You and the boy.
Yeah, me and the boy,
Fun,
my son.
That can be fun.
So
Yeah.
we have a show tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central Time. We do have David Oates coming on tomorrow. And Sherry will probably be here, seeing you're going to be at the show. The show must go on.
The show must go on.
So we're going to go ahead and go then, so Susie can go to bed before she starts snoring in the camera.
Yes, I
And-
got to get up early when it's dark out still, and
Yeah.
because I have almost a 3-hour drive to get to the show, so
Wow.
yeah, we got to load
Fun
the horses
times.
up. Huh?
Fun times.
Yep, it'll be a nice day tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the 80s, I think. It'll be pretty.
Is it? Probably. We got 90s coming up this later on the week too.
Ooh, we
I
may
think
be
it's
getting
well,
close to the
it says
40s.
it's going to be 82 tomorrow. 82 degrees. That'll be nice.
No, 50.
Summertime's right around the corner for Texas.
Yeah, you guys get
Yeah.
hot first. I mean, we're gonna maybe hit 50 tomorrow with some sunshine.
Okay.
So,
It's
Yeah, it's
All
better
right.
than the 30s.
we're
better
gonna
than zero.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
will see you all tomorrow night. And
Alrighty.
in the meantime, you guys be well. Everybody get some good sleep. Now I got the hiccups. And like always, everybody, please be kind to one another. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye for now, from Beyond the Box.
Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs from our extraordinary guests.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker.